Hello there, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today, another one of my Back to Basics video series, where I take a topic, often something that's been brought up by a viewer, and I give you some advice and tips on how to approach that subject as you go through life. Now today's subject is money management. Now this is a skill that we all hopefully learn as young people. Maybe when we get our pocket money, you may be budgeting to buy, a comic. In my childhood, that doesn't exist anymore, but a comic magazine or sweets or whatever, wherever you spend your money as a kid. When you start earning your wages, you then, escalate that management of your finances, and it really, can get you through life. And if you can't manage your money well, it can have a significant impact on the way that you live your life, and maybe you would like to live your life in the future. Money management is such an integral skill of the successful individual. Now, over the years, I've been a caseworker with a national charity which helps people with a number of problems throughout their lives. And I've met many people whose lack of money management skills has dominated the quality of their lives. It's meant that they've had to do jobs they didn't want to, they have to make decisions that they would never have chosen to do if they had the good fortune of managing their money a little better at an earlier point in their lives. Now, the first thing I would stress, and I have to reiterate this, I am not a financial advisor, all right? I've got no experience as a financial advisor. I've got no qualification as a financial advisor, but I'm going to give you 5 tips today that I have learned on my life journey to this point in my life, which has stood me in good stead. Being able to look after my money well and employing these skills allowed me to semi-retire from full-time work when I was only 50 years of age, and now I live a life which is entirely debt-free of any kind, and it gives me a lot of freedom. Only been possible through being good with money. I've never had really high-paying jobs, nothing like that. I've always been in a sort of public service job, but I've looked after what money I have earned. Now, I have been very fortunate in a way because I am married to an accountant. So my wife is a finance director of a company, and she's got a pretty good grip on money. So I've learned a bit from her as well. But looking after your funds means your funds will look after you at a later point in life. So I've got 5 tips for you today which will help you manage your financial resources. Now, my first tip for you is really easy. We can all do it. It doesn't really cost any money at all. And that is, make a budget for your life and stick to it and live by it. Because, so many people, they get into trouble with money because they lose a grip of how much money they've got, where it's going to, and it soon gets out of control. The way I would recommend you do this, right? I know there are lots of apps in the world today. You can get money tracking apps on your phone. These things are all so complicated, difficult to keep up with. I like to keep things as simple as possible. That way they can't go wrong. My first bit of advice, buy yourself a journal, all right? It can cost £1 or $1. Get it from any old cheap store. Get a journal and use that journal to keep an accurate record of incoming money and outgoing money. Everything. All right. If you buy, a cup of coffee and a sandwich every day at lunchtime, put that amount of money in your journal. Larger expenses, car, repayments, mortgage repayments, rent repayments, buying a new tire for your car. Write it in the journal. It's simple. Keep one column for money coming in, another column for money going out. Because do you know what? When you look at it all there in written down in your own hand on a piece of paper, sometimes it can be illuminating for you, because we tend to operate on rough numbers, don't we? We're handing over a credit card, we're using Apple Pay or whatever. We don't really physically ever see money, and it becomes an ethereal thing to us. It's a mystical thing, money today. We never actually see cash anymore. It's just a matter of numbers. But when you see it written down, it can help you to stick to a budget which you decide that you're going to set yourself. You can see if you're going over, if you've got any savings, because, you know, if nothing else, undertaking a regular audit by recording what's coming in and going out will help you stay on top of expenses that you've forgotten about. So let's say you joined a gym in January of this year because you wanted to get in shape, you wanted to get fit. You signed up to £50 a month as a gym fee. You went for a month, you fell out of love with it, you haven't been since. And you've just never got round to cancelling that gym membership. So each and every month, £50 is dropping out of your account. By keeping a journal, that wouldn't happen. You would recognise that you had that expense and you could take steps accordingly. So get yourself a journal and keep track of the money that you've got coming in. Now, my next tip for you is to build an emergency fund, a little bit of buffer money that you can fall back on in a situation if you find yourself in need. Because let's be honest, life is an unpredictable journey and you never know what's going to happen. It has a nasty habit of springing financial surprises on you, whether that is, you know, a car repair or a medical bill that you need to pay, or even something like an international pandemic, which means you can't work for a little while and you need to have a little bit of money tucked away that can help keep you going in a time of need. Now, typically, a good expectation would be 3 to 6 months of your normal living expenses. So go back to your journal and see how much you spend in a month. Shall we say, for the sake of mathematical argument, you have £2,000 a month living expenses. This is what your ordinary life costs you on a typical month. So what you would want is 3 to 6 months worth tucked away that you don't spend, that you keep over there safe. So 6 months would be £12,000, right? Tucked away, safety money. If you can't afford that, go for 3 months, you know, half that, £6,000. But your little buffer is there. It will calm the anxiety that you may feel because you don't, you know, something may happen. You might lose your job unexpectedly. You might have a friend or a relative who is sick and you have to travel to them to help them, to, you know, be the big brother or go to your parents or whatever, or your children. You know, that money is there tucked away. It's not touchable. You just keep it safe. It will help you, you know, feel that you're going forward in life with a plan if something goes wrong. Now, my tip number 3 for you is, if you can, pay off all of your high interest debt as quickly as you can, because things like store cards, you know, certain debit cards, credit cards, these have often exorbitant rates of interest. They entice you in to get you to buy this, you know, high ticket item, and then they're going to be hitting you with extremely high interest. It can eat into your reserves for extremely long periods of time, and often people just accept it as part of normal life. What I would say to you is, make it your highest financial priority to pay down that high interest debt, because whilst you have it, it's stealing your money. Get rid of it. Get rid of that debt. Now, as I say, I'm not a financial advisor, but the sort of things I have done in the past where I've had to take out debt because I didn't have that emergency fund, right? The sort of thing you can do is go and take out a consolidation loan. So get a bank loan for the amount of high interest debt you've got, maybe a store card or something, consolidate them, get all your store cards together, get a loan for that amount. You will find that the bank offers a much better rate of interest for you, rather than these individual store cards, which all together are just sucking your money away. A consolidating loan is going to make it much easier, get the debt all in one place at a better rate of interest and pay it down in a much more controlled way. My biggest advice to you would be, go to an independent financial advisor, tell them your situation, lay it all out. Again, that's why it's useful having that journal with financial, you know, records in there to show somebody like this. Go to that financial advisor and ask them, what is the best financial product which is available on the market which will assist me in this situation? And you may find that you could save an absolute fortune. The last thing you want to do is just keep soldiering on, paying this exorbitant amount of debt, which is just eating away at you time and time again. You're never going to get to the bottom of it because something may happen which then will necessitate you taking out more debt, and you're digging deeper and deeper into a hole. Take steps, get rid of that high interest debt, and it will be like an anvil lifting off your shoulders. Now, my tip number 4 for you, and this is going to sound so simple, but live below your means, all right? Avoid this expression which I often see in the financial world today of life inflation. What it basically means is you get yourself to a situation in life, all right? You're quite happy, you're comfortable, you're doing well. Then you get a promotion in work. You get a big increase in pay. Now, instead of thinking, okay, I'm going to continue living my life as I am, and I'm going to do something useful with that money. I'm going to invest it. I'm going to put it away. I'm going to pay it into a pension. I'm going to be sensible with the money. No, you don't do that. There is a huge temptation of you to live life inflation, all right? So that extra pay you're getting, you're going to spend it. You're going to say, okay, I've really enjoyed this Volkswagen car I've been driving, but now I've got this extra money, I really fancy a Mercedes or a BMW. You've just experienced life inflation. You used to have a lovely holiday once a year with the family. You get that promotion, extra money comes in, you can have 2 holidays. Or the holiday which you have is going to be much further, much more extravagant. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter how many promotions you get, how many raises you get, how many windfalls of money. If you keep playing this game of life inflation, you're never going to have any actual savings. It's all going to keep going on ever increasing boosts to your lifestyle. It's far more sensible, and I can attest to this, when you find a point of life that you're happy at living by. You know, you've got a lovely home, you've got the car that you need rather than you want. You know, we would all love to have an Aston Martin or something like that, but let's be honest, we don't need it. When you get to that stage of life that you're happy, then you can channel your money somewhere else. It's not very exciting, paying money into a pension, or making investments at an early age, or paying off priority debt. Doesn't sound very exciting, but let me tell you, when you get to your middle years, and all of a sudden some of your friends and associates who've been sensible with their money, they haven't been buying swimming pools or going to the Maldives, right? They've been putting their money into pensions. All of a sudden, when they're 50, 55, they're retiring. They've got a lovely life ready for them. But you're going to be working until you're 65 because you've not saved your money. You've lived up to your means and sometimes beyond it. So for you, all that lies ahead is a life of toil for as long as you can. When your friends are kicking back and enjoying themselves because they've been sensible with their money, unfortunately, you've got a much longer period at the grindstone ahead of you. So live below your means. Don't live beyond it, and certainly the rewards will come in time. Now, my 5th tip for you is invest wisely. We've just talked about living below your means. That means you're going to have a bit of slack cash and you want to do something sensible with it. You want to prepare for the future. You can start building your wealth towards that happy ever after that you've got planned just around the corner. What I would say to you is now it is certainly the time to visit the independent financial advisor and lay out exactly what your vision is for the future and how you intend to fund it. Because there are many different financial options which will lay in store for you. Things like pensions, stocks and bonds. They can be very, very tax efficient as well. So rather than just working your guts out and paying 40% of your income in tax, put your money in certain financial products and you can in fact see more of your money in the long run and make sure it isn't spent by your government, which is something all of us as taxpayers should aim to do. But an independent financial advisor will offer you diversified financial options which are in line with your own appetite for risk and your own thoughts on the world. You can invest in certain things should you wish to do so, with sort of green credentials or whatever. There are every sort of product out there. But take steps to make your money work for you. If your cash is just lying in the bank, it's not earning, and it can be working on your behalf. Now you've stayed tuned to the end of my Back to Basics video on a subject which isn't perhaps the most sparkling of all of my topics I cover, but it's really important. It has the power to alter your life for the better in the future. So I've got a bonus tip for you, and that is keep your finger on your financial pulse. Because let's be honest, many of us, we work very, very, very hard for our money. And actually, having put all that time and effort into acquiring our treasure, we should pay more attention to what happens with it. And few people do. You know, there are not that many people who are financially literate about their situation. Keeping the journal I've talked about will help you to keep your finger on the pulse. But the other thing you can do is just be aware of the financial world in which you live. Now, this may, just involve reading the financial sections of your paper every so often, or maybe going online, finding out where the best interest rates are. Because if your money is parked in an account somewhere which has a low interest rate and there are other options available, you're losing money. You're working hard in your job, and your money is putting its feet up and taking it easy. Make sure your money is breaking a sweat as well. Stay abreast of the financial situation that you're in and move your money around from time to time. Chase the best financial products. Be financially literate about the life that you lead. Make the most of that money. Make it work for you. And just remember, financial well-being, all right, it takes time, it takes discipline, but ultimately the rewards that you can reap at the end of it will be so much worth the effort that you invest in it during your life journey. Because who wants to work till they're 75 when you can retire at 55 and have a happy, calming life? You know, you're going to live longer, you're going to be happier. It's the option which is open to you. Financial literacy and well-being, it just takes a bit of time. I'm sure you'll get there when you put your mind to it. So there we go. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more like this, click the subscribe button. You can support the channel by leaving me a comment, dropping me an email, or buying me a coffee, or becoming a patron. It's worth being aware that I make additional videos for my patrons, and we have a different dialogue over on my Patreon channel, and you'll find the links to all that in the show notes below. So, until the next time, take care, look after your money, and it will look after you. And I will see you again very soon.